I really felt for Fern in Fern and the Case of the Stolen Story, but by no means do I excuse what she did. This is the first segment in the 9th episode of the 16th season of Arthur, and Fern has writer's block, and we have a very special appearance from a very classic writer. I won't spoil it by saying who exactly, but the depiction was pretty entertaining and I rather enjoyed that side of it. But Fern is supposed to be presenting stories, Muffy is encouraging her to read out stories, and Fern realises that she hasn't got any stories to tell just now, so she does the unthinkable and betrays LaDonna by stealing some of LaDonna's stories. But because Fern makes slight tweaks to the story and changes the names of people involved, she doesn't understand or realise that what she's doing is theft. And I think that this is such an important lesson, both for people who are writers. I'm a professional writer, I get writer's block, certainly with my own novels, and I would never dream of changing somebody's story or borrowing somebody's story to get over my writer's block. But it's also nice to show that there's no shame in it. I think a lot of people feel like, and I don't know if there's any truth in this, but I feel like people think if you're a writer, you can just produce written content all the time, which would be wonderful. But I think anybody who knows, anybody who is any kind of artist will know that actually that's not possible. Sometimes you do get writer's block or artist's block, and that's okay. It's absolutely fine to admit that, and Fern has to learn this. But the bigger lesson, of course, is don't steal. Even though you're reading it out loud, that's still theft. Just because it's not published. For example, we saw this with Francine when she copyrighted or stole some copyrighted work for homework, and she hadn't realised, but that was written down, printed out words. Because Fern's reading out loud, I can think maybe some people won't realise that the same rules apply, but actually they do. I really enjoyed it from the relatability aspect, not that I steal stories, but from the writing aspect, but I think it's got some important lessons in it as well. Definitely one that I enjoyed, and nice to see LaDonna in a slightly different role as well. Rather than being the centre of trying to get attention, it's almost the opposite. And as we know, LaDonna likes to tell these elaborate stories, but then it comes back to bite her when it comes to the Case of Fern. Definitely an episode that I liked.